What's behind us is the world's largest grain cart. It's a Brent made by Unverferth, and 3,150 bushels. That's a lot, well, 3 semi-trailer trucks full of grain. But the interesting part about this is what's behind us. And this is a water tank. And I guess this is for farmers who get really thirsty.
That's right. That's right. They can grab a sip. Otherwise, they can also use it for dousing the field if fire arises. We have 275 gallons of water capacity here. We have a hydraulically driven pump that runs the system. We're capitalizing on the hydraulics that are already available from the tractor. This idea kind of came up from really seeing what farmers are doing in the fields. Primarily in the west and the north, where dry conditions often accompany harvest conditions as well, and fire is a real risk to the crop and the equipment that's being used in it. So
that's right. When you have a field fire, it takes a long time for probably a rural fire protection district to get there, and while it's still controllable, you've got 275 gallons of water that you could really start dousing that then.
That's correct. Yep, we have 100 foot of hose available here and output of about 40 gallons per minute. You're right, the grain cart's always moving around the field and most available to respond if something were to arise that way. Some guys appreciate having the water available just to wash their equipment off at the end of the day, too, is some feedback we've gotten.
So that's why it's called, instead of fire suppression, which is sort of has a negative connotation, it's a water delivery system then.
Yep, we refer to it as a water delivery system. What you choose to use it for is entirely up to you. So,
now, what spurred the company to put something on like this?
Sure. So really, that kind of came as a product of feedback from our customers and farmers that we've seen out in the field. We regularly follow up with customers and visit with them on what they feel would be good ideas, and some farmers we visited with were already doing a variation of this on their own equipment, kind of taking things into their own hands, and we thought, what better way to serve them than to come with an offering that they could bolt on their cart and be ready to go. So,
Eli, we appreciate that, and I hope you get a lot of positive response from it then.
Thank you very much. Yep, it's compatible on this cart as well as smaller carts as well. So.
Eli Sents of Unverferth, and it's an interesting concept here, putting fire suppression systems on a grain cart that's more accessible to a combine fire than a rural fire protection district. I'm Stu Ellis.
What does a rural fire protection district think about the new fire suppression system on some of the new grain carts? Well, we took the opportunity to ask Kurt Michener. He is chief of the Argenta-Oreana Rural Fire Protection District, northeast of Decatur.
Anything that could give us a head start to getting the fire under control is definitely a plus. Being a volunteer fire department, sometimes staffing issues depending on time of day. People work full-time jobs. Sometimes we don't have a lot of people during the day. So anything that could benefit us of getting a quick knock on a small fire or something like that to keep it from spreading would definitely be beneficial in that aspect.
I don't know how many of the companies that are putting these on, but you're aware of whether it's water or other technologies. Then there's some other things that you are aware of that may help.
Yeah, I think they're mainly new and upcoming in the last 5 years or so that people have started putting either a manufactured device like this or a homemade device with a tank with water on it or something. To be beneficial in that aspect. You never know what's going to happen. It could start from sparks on a machine or even cigarette thrown out the window into a field or something. So having that there at an instance is pretty vital because, like I said, volunteer fire department, we've got a 3 to 5 minute response to the station and then how many ever minutes to the scene wherever it is from the station. So, automatically we're about 10 minutes behind the ball before it even started. So something like this in the field, if you can have it in the field or even a neighbor of that field, I'm sure they'd be more than willing to come over to a field that is on fire. On those windy days, that 50, 60 mile an hour windy days, and it's just an act of God that these fires start sometimes, whether it's a spark or whatever, but it can burn 50 to 100 to 200 acres easily before we can even do anything about it. You know, sometimes we just go to a road and have to sit on that road and make sure it doesn't jump the road, because there's no way that you could even get in there to battle that fire whenever it starts on those really windy days.
Now, this is water. Are there other technologies that for doing this?
Yeah, from what I've seen online and the little research I have done, there's a compressed air foam system that has a much greater ratio. It uses less material to put out more fire. So it uses a foam, and it would also be beneficial for like tires, diesel fuel, stuff like that. The foam actually smothers the fire out instead of water, instead of water taking it away. So the compressed air foam systems go a long ways. They can put out a lot more fire than just water. But I haven't done enough research to know, if these companies, sometimes it's just an additive that can go in the water, and then there's an air tank that supplies you with more. You're not running off like PSI off of a motor, then it's more of an air-based is how the propulsion comes out of the hoses and stuff. So yeah, it sounds like there's some different options coming up, and it's getting better and better as it goes on.
Well, yeah, they're certainly not competing with you.
Yeah.
They're just trying to
No, we're all for the help. We are all for the help. Whatever they can do to help, we'll take it.